Welcome back. It's time to start building out our landing page. We're going to start with our hero section right at the very top. The point of the hero section is to grab a visitor's attention, convey your site's core message, and guide them towards a specific action. While building, feel free to personalize your site using your preferred media or text. However, to ensure you learn the essential tools within Wix Studio, I'd like you to follow along using the same elements and structure as I do. All right, let's begin. As we hover over the blank section, you'll see we have 3 starting points to choose from. Let's click on Add Element to open up our Ads panel on the left. From here, we're going to go into the Quick Add section and grab an image, drag it in, and let go. To set this as the section background, we can hover over the arrow in the top right-hand corner and click Set Image as Background. Now, to change the image, let's open up the Inspector panel and scroll down to Design. Here we can see that the image is set as the section background. Let's click Change Media to open up our Media Manager to choose another photo. From here, we can search on any of the media from Wix, or go to Site Files to choose any files that you've uploaded or upload now. Once you've selected the image that you want, click Change Background in the lower right-hand corner. Now let's add in a title. Back in the Quick Adds panel, let's grab a title and drop it in. To edit the title, we'll click Edit Text and type whatever we'd like. Or if you need a little help, we can choose Generate Text with AI to open our AI Text Creator. Once you've entered in the text you'd like to use, let's head over to the Inspector panel to make some more changes. Here at the top, we can choose to align it to horizontal center and vertical center. Next, we can choose the responsive behavior. As mentioned before, depending on what type of element we're adding to the site, we'll have different options for responsive behaviors. Whenever we add something new to the site, it's important to check out the default responsive behavior and make sure we set it to what we'd like. If we want the text to scale throughout the breakpoints, we need to choose a scaling option like Scale Proportionally or Hug. Or if we want it to stay the same size throughout the breakpoints, we'll choose a fixed option like Fixed or Wrap. For now, let's choose Scale Proportionally. Down in the Design section, let's change our font color by clicking the color picker and selecting another color. Lastly, I'm going to make it a little bigger by simply just grabbing the corner and scaling it up. Now we'll align it back to center. Next, let's add a call to action button. Back in the Ads panel, we'll go to Buttons and choose one of these options. I want the button for this to just be an icon, so let's grab this circle with a heart in it and drop it in. To scale it up, we'll grab the corners and scale it a little larger, and then change the icon. Let's hit Settings. From here, we can open up the Media Manager, go to Media from Wix, and search for another icon. Select the icon you'd like and click Add to Page. Once we're ready to link this button, we can choose a link from here to set it to a page, an anchor, or any of the other options that you see. Back in the Inspector panel, we can design the button a little more. Let's change the background fill to white. And under Icon, we can make it a little larger. Now, at the top of the Design section, we have the state. With most buttons, you can choose a regular state and also design a hover state. So for the hover state, let's just remove the background fill, so it's just the icon. To see this in action, let's go to the top and hit Preview. Now, if we hover over the button, we can see that the hover state is activated. While in this preview mode, you can also grab the resize handles on the right or left and see what the site looks like as it scales up and down. To go back to editing, let's hit Edit Site in the top right-hand corner. The next thing that we want to do is stack the text and the button together. Stacks ensure consistent spacing between 2 or more elements, preventing them from overlapping and allowing them to scale together across all screen sizes. Let's open the Layers panel so we can get a better visual of this. Right now, when we look into the section, we see we have a button and text. To create a stack, we'll simply click on the text, hold down Shift, and click the button. Now, on the canvas, we'll have the option to click Stack. Now, if we look in the Layers panel, we see that we just have the stack, and inside the stack is the text and the button. With the stack selected, we can move both elements freely around together. We can also control the spacing with this little blue line and moving it up and down, or double-clicking and typing exactly what we want. Now that our elements are stacked, let's align them back to center in the inspector panel. The next thing that we're going to do is change up our header. Let's head back over to the layers panel and open up the header. Inside the header currently we have our menu and our stack. Inside the stack is a vector art, the logo, and the business name. Let's go ahead and remove these elements so we can start with a blank header. To remove the stack, let's click the three dots and hit delete. Or if you'd like to do it on the canvas, we can select an element like this menu and simply hit delete on our keyboard. Now in the layers panel, we see that the header is empty. Let's start by adding our logo. Back in the add elements, let's go back to quick add and add a shape. We can scale it down to whatever size we like. And then again, we'll use the inspector panel to align it to the left and to the vertical center. Now let's add our business name. From the quick add, we'll grab a title and drop it in. We'll edit the text and type in our business name. For this title, let's set our responsive behavior to another scaling option like hug. Now, let's grab the title and align it to the logo. If we need to make it larger, grab the corners and scale it up. Now let's make this a stack. We'll click next to the business name and drag across to select both, and we'll get the stack option. To create some space between the stack and the side of the header, let's add some padding. We'll first click on the header itself, go to the inspector panel, and scroll down to padding. Here we can choose to create some horizontal padding. Let's change the unit to percentage and add something like 2. Now we can see that there's padding in the header, keeping the stack from the side. Once we complete all the sections of our landing page, we can set up the navigation by adding back in the horizontal menu. But for now, let's leave that out. The last thing that we want to do to the header is add some sort of header effect. By clicking on the header, we can go to the top of the inspector panel and see the different scroll effects that we can choose from. The default is scroll with sight, but we also have freeze, disappear, or fade out. The little image at the bottom will show you exactly what the different options do. Let's choose disappear. And then we can choose to have the header overlap the next section by clicking next section. Now you'll see that the header is on top of the section and you can see through it. Further down, we can choose to have a color while scrolling by flipping this on and changing the color to whatever we would like. To see this effect in action, we need to preview the site. But first, in order to make sure the site will scroll when we preview, we need to make the page longer by adding in a blank section. Hover over the bottom of this top section and click on Add Section. Now, let's hit Preview in the top right-hand corner. Scroll to the very top and slowly start scrolling down. As we scroll, you'll see that the header is going to be filled with the color that we chose. All right, that wraps up our hero section and header. How are you feeling so far? At the end of each lesson, feel free to go back and review any steps at your own pace. Take as much time as you need to finish this section, and when ready, I'll see you in the next lesson.